Thanks for coming today. I wanted to show you some features of the Universal Design Living Laboratory. All right, well, first of all, I have a no-step threshold here. This is a 1 in 20 slope ramp from the outside portico into the front of the house here. Anything less than a 1 in 20 slope is not considered a ramp. You'll notice that the front door here is set down into the concrete, so there's only a 1/4 inch threshold transition between the outside and the inside surface. This is the powder room. This is what I consider a public space, so we wanted to make it wide enough for, or large enough for somebody in a power-assisted wheelchair to use and be able to maneuver around easily. Notice that we have motion sensing lights coming into the space, as well as a motion activated fan. We also have a power operated skylight because we wanted to get some natural light into this room. But most importantly is that we have what I'll call a sliding panel here, so that we hide the toilet behind this, so it's not seen from the public space, but if somebody needs to get inside, they can slide this door back into the wall. Toilets are all comfort height. At every toileting location we do have these nice decorative grab bars, and we also placed a phone system in at each location, because if there's a problem you can do an all page so that every phone in the house would ring and somebody would pick up and come for assistance. This particular sink here floats off the floor, and this allows somebody in an assistive device to wheel up underneath this location. We were able to take this wall-mounted sink and float it onto this countertop, and also because of that we're able to lower the mirror so somebody in a seated position is able to easily see themselves. The other advantage of pulling this sink forward is that somebody can reach the faucet lever a lot easier. This is a master bedroom, and just a couple of features I'll point out to you from a universal design standpoint here. First of all, the beds are a memory foam type bed. They're two extra long twins put together as a king, and we have individual controls that allows the beds to raise and lower independently, and it actually helps Rosemary in her sleeping because she doesn't have as many leg spasms and such when she's lying on a bed of this type. Also, throughout the house we used different types of accessible blinds. This is a top-down, bottom-up, but the windows that we use in the entire house are a casement style window. This has a single lever crank, or a latch I should say, with a pin top and bottom, and a crank here on the left side. So this makes it easy for somebody in a seated position to open and close the window independently. We're going to move towards the master bathroom here. A couple of features I'd like to point out. Again, a transition between spaces here. In this situation, we floated the floor up a little bit so it was even with the tile in the bathroom. More importantly though, we used a fair amount of pocket doors on this side of the house. And the reason we did this was space savings, but also because we felt it was easier to open and close by using this handheld device. You can see a latch here that pops out that allows somebody with limited dexterity or arthritic type hands to be able to open and close this door. It also has a latch to it, but you can see how easy these doors open and close at will with ball bearing hinges or ball bearing track that we have. First and foremost, the bathtub, the whirlpool that we have here. There were several considerations here. Number one is standing up in a bathtub is one of the least safe things you can do in a home. There's quite a number of accidents in regards to slipping in a bathroom type setting. So what we did is we purchased this whirlpool that has built-in grab bars. It's a cast iron tub, but we also made a wider deck here, so instead of stepping into the tub you sit down and transfer into the tub itself. Okay, it makes it a little easier for somebody in a seated position to get across, so you can spin around, towel off, and then go about your day. We also, as part of the planning process, we thought that maybe in the future we would have a need for a track or a hoist type system, so we did blocking up in the ceiling here as well as in the bedrooms near the beds to enable somebody to use this tub if they're disabled in other ways. In the vanity area here. It's really amazing the difference that 2 inches makes. I'm 6'4", Rosemary's 4'9", in a seated position. But having just this slight amount of change in counter height, she's able to roll in underneath this sink area here. The shower is probably the most important room area for us, and one of the most difficult for us to design, simply because you have to think about the needs you have now as well as the needs you may encounter in the future. So in this particular instance, first thing we did was we flooded the floor to this full-length channel drain in the back. What that does for us is gets water sloughed off from this floor right away, so you're not standing in a center area of water. You create a safer environment. Also, Rosemary desired to be able to transfer from her existing chair to this seated fold-down chair. We like this because it's adjustable and you can fold it up and down. Notice we have grab bars all around. We did a solid material here that allows ease of cleanability, and we have a adjustable handheld shower here which goes up and down, but also has a on-off and a volume control. So you save water as you shower. We place strategically located shower niches down low for her, and then up high for me at this shower location. Now this room that we come off to, right off the master bathroom, we spent a lot of time thinking about our past living environments and moving clothes from the bedroom all the way across the house to a washer dryer that's outside of the garage. So we thought, why not place the cleaning of the clothes and the hanging of clothes something that's convenient to the users. So we created this combination laundry/wardrobe. We simply call it a wardrobe. It was very important for Rosemary to have access to both floors of the house. So we had this elevator installed. This is kind of between a commercial and a residential style. It's a little larger than a residential. What we like about this elevator is that if you go between floors, you can pull straight in, and the door to the basement will be on the opposite side of this, so you don't have to turn around in the elevator, or you don't have to back up to getting out. Usually the focus of every house is the kitchen area, and there's a lot of unique features I'm going to spend just a couple of moments sharing with you here today. First of all, the center island here has multiple countertops, so it accommodates someone in a seated position, a mid-tier or an average size height person, and a tall person such as myself. Naturally, I would gravitate to more of a tall side for chopping, etc. Rosemary would use the short height for her cooking prep. It was very important for us in this design, the idea of bringing everything to you rather than you going in after it, and you'll see that. Universal design requires that at least 50% of all contents be accessible from a seated position, and we've been able to accommodate that. On this island, we have a couple of unique features here. A standard convection microwave here. But most importantly, we have a side door oven. This is a unit that is not commonly available, but is made in Germany. This, believe it or not, same height here from the floor as what's in a typical range. But what this allows us to do is get close to your turkey or whatever you're cooking inside, as opposed to standing way out and not having the leverage to get something out that's heavy. Over here on this side, again, more storage, pull-out drawers, etc. Here's a convenient feature for everyone, and this is a standard dishwasher with pull-out drawers, but we raised it 15 inches off, so it's convenient for myself and for Rosemary. And then we have drawer storage underneath that as well. Now here we have cutlery storage, multiple tiers, so we can get more cutlery in the same amount of drawer space as what we had before. The sink here, using a deep well stainless sink with the drain holes towards the rear to give us a little bit more knee space. Speaking of knee space, we have that underneath here, and we've also mounted the the drain disposer, so we can turn that on with an air switch underneath rather than being on top. It's a lot easier to reach. A reverse osmosis water and a single levered faucet with a pull out here. Notice that the overhead storage units here are 14 inches from here to here as opposed to the standard 18 inches. That enables Rosemary to get up through the second shelf here on most of these. Rosemary loves this feature. Is an area where she can pull in and cook more comfortably than she was able to do before. These are thin line cooktops. They're available in gas, electric, and induction. We chose natural gas. They're also available in different burner configurations. A 2-burner, a single burner, and this is what's called a steam table. We're able to take this, fill it up with water from the reverse osmosis system. And if you want to cook noodles, throw your noodles in here, turn it on and cook it. When you're ready to serve, you can flip a switch and the water drains out and you serve right from here, or you can remove the basket. The big selling feature for us was that you didn't have to take a big pot of water and try to wheel it over to the sink, flip it into a colander and drain it there. There's a risk of a burn hazard there, which you eliminate in this arrangement. Drawer space, an interesting feature with this was that, and we had never tried this before, we thought let's put our dishes down below. They're accessible for Rosemary, and I've come to really like this too because you're not taking heavy stoneware plates and putting them over top where you risk breakage more often than not. A couple of things I'll show you out here in the garage. You'll notice, and I didn't point this out in the beginning, but the only place that has steps in this house is to the basement. Everything else is a 1 in 20 slope or no threshold. Like in the garage here, we actually poured the floor sloped, and we have no steps coming out of the garage itself. You might ask yourself, how do you address the issue of carbon monoxide? And we have a couple of exhaust fans that are motion activated, so when the garage door opens or closes, it'll run 30 minutes and evacuate any carbon monoxide that's in the space.